Well, hello, welcome to DIY Design by CCW, and thank you so much for clicking on my video. Today I've got 5 of my favorite fall DIYs for you in a compilation. Now this first DIY is the Champagne and Brown set. Now this set was made, I think maybe 2 years ago, maybe a little longer, and it was a little different than most of the pieces that you'll see on my channel. First of all, I combined 2 kind of odd colors, I guess, to put together. I used a chocolate brown multi-surface paint by Folk Art, and then I accented that paint with a champagne gold paint, also made by Folk Art, but it was a Treasure Gold brand. Now I added some paint to these thrifted pieces. Here you see me putting on the second coat of the chocolate brown multi-surface paint. And then once I did that, I went ahead, of course, and added my accent color. Now, I did make 2 types of lids for this set, but in this video, since this is a compilation of 5, I'm only showing you this one, which was really just a glass candle jar lid that I repurposed and painted in champagne. Now the vase, I did a 2-tone technique here. I did the bottom in the chocolate brown and the top in the champagne gold. And then once everything's set, everything dried, I added a little fabric trim or a little bling, and then the set was finished. So again, with the champagne color paint that you see on top, the pigment is a little bit different. It takes 2 or 3 coats really to get it to look like you want. But it does work, and in the end it looks beautiful. Here you can see I'm taking the little Dollar Tree cylinder, which was a part of the set, and I'm just accenting the bottom of that piece with a touch of the champagne. Now for the trim, I'm using a beautiful fabric trim that comes from Joann fabric, and as you can see, I'm using a wide piece here in the center of the vase, and you'll kind of see as I finish the set that I follow the same, sort of theme, using the same trims and just kind of accenting each piece a little bit different. Now, if I were going to do this set again today, there is one thing I would change. So for the focal point, I use these beautiful brooches, and I do like them, but I think they were just a little bit too large for this set. Other than that, I do like the set overall, and again, like I said, it is a set that I still use, but you know what, if you're gonna do DIYs, you should experiment, and sometimes you don't like every single element about a piece, but it helps you think about what you would do differently should you create the piece again. Now, I'm actually working on a new fall set that I'm using this vase that is very similar in shape to this one, and I'm going to try a little bit different approach. You'll see that video rather. I should be uploading that within a couple of days. Now here you see I'm just adding some silver, which again, very different choice because the gold, champagne gold, and the brown, you would think that maybe I would have gone with a gold touch, but I decided to go with silver to offset everything. And again, here is the brooch, which I do really like. I just don't know if it's the right brooch for this set. It looks okay on the vase, but I think it may have been too large for the smaller pieces. Unfortunately, I only had one size. But again, you let me know what you think, and I'll let you watch me put the rest of this set together, and then I'll be back when we finish the DIY. Okay, and this is how the set turned out. You know, I do like it. Like I said though, if I were to make it again today, I would either leave out the large brooch or just put the large brooch on the vase maybe, because I think it's a little too large for the smaller pieces. But other than that, I really do like this set. Now there you see the little lid that I did for the Dollar Tree piece, and then I made those other lids by hand. Of course, since this is a compilation, I did leave some of the, parts of the DIY out. But if you'd like to see how I made those lids and you'd like to see a little more detail, I'll make sure that I leave a link to the video down in the description box. Now, I do love the way the paint turned out. However, I think the chocolate brown is the perfect complement to the champagne, and overall I like the set. Now here's another one of my favorite sets that I still use today, and this is the rose gold set. Now this one, I pretty much like everything about it, but you let me know what you think. So of course I started by painting my pieces. Now if you've never watched one of my videos, I'll let you know that if you're gonna paint glass, make sure you clean your piece really thoroughly, and I always clean it with alcohol or wipe it down with alcohol. Or wipe the glass down rather with alcohol right before I paint it, dry it, and that helps the paint adhere a little better. Also, while you're painting, make sure that you keep your brush strokes as even as possible, go in the same direction as much as possible, and do not overload the paint or your piece will have streaks. Now, here I'm using a beautiful rose gold color that I absolutely love. This is a treasure gold paint. And for this one, I'm painting, I painted the bottom of the vase, and then I took each of the little cylinders and painted the bottoms of the cylinders. Now, because this is a treasure gold paint, which is a little more translucent, I think I ended up doing at least 2 to 3 coats on the bottoms of the vase as well as the bottoms of the cylinders. Now, once the paint dried, I started adding some embellishment. Now, this time I am using a beautiful rhinestone trim. This trim comes from I was going to say Faber Mart, but that's not right. It comes from Joann Fabrics, and it also comes in silver, blue, red, and I typically will use the silver, in a lot of DIYs, but I love this gold tone too. So, of course, I applied my favorite glue, which is E6000 Quick Hold, and once I did that, I went ahead and put the trim in place. So, I mean, this was pretty easy. I really just kept the trim basic. Here you see I'm using a similar trim to the one that I used in the first DIY, but this is a different shade. It's a rose gold, and I'm going to use that around the neck of my base, or vase rather, or the belt area, because sometimes when I'm doing this type of vase, I usually think of it almost like a ball gown, with the neck or the the top part being more like the waist almost. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about as I'm decorating my vase. So here you'll see that I'm adding some gold, or rather some rose gold stones, or crystals rather, that I think are really pretty. And I just kind of kept because the paint I think is so bold, I really kept the trim kind of, minimal, and just added what I needed to bring out the color and add a little punch. And then that was it. So guys, I'm going to stop talking for a little bit, let you watch me finish up these pieces, and I'll be back when we get to the next part of this DIY. Okay, so now I'll show you how, or we'll take a look at together, how I put together the tray for this set. Now, if you follow my channel, you've seen me do this before lots of times, but if you're new, then of course this will be new for you, so I'll kind of describe what I'm doing. Typically, I will take cake boards, just regular cake boards, stack them together and glue them, and that will be the center support for my decorative trays. Now, I typically will glue a mirror on top as well as the bottom so that the tray looks the same no matter which side you're looking at. And here you see me gluing on some floral rings, or macrame rings you may call them, and I did a whole series of trays where I used a lot of these rings. Now the gluing method excuse me, is I used a little bit of E6000 quick hold. Here you see I'm dabbing on a little regular E6000. Now this glue will dry clear, you won't see it, but you may have to clean up any excess, and I would suggest doing that with alcohol, and maybe dipping a Q-tip into alcohol. So after placing rings on both sides, I'm now going to go ahead and add this gold foil tape, and the tape secures pretty well with the adhesive that comes, with it, but I just decided after starting to go ahead and apply a little bit of E6000 quick hold just to make double sure that the tape secured exactly the way I wanted it. Now, I could have left the edges just like this, but I did end up adding a little bit of decorative trim even on top of this tape, just to add a little bit of interest to the tray. Now, another thing that you won't see in this video is I also glued on 4 dresser knobs or crystal decorative knobs with a gold trim so that the tray would have legs. And again, if you want to see the full tray assembly, I'll leave a link to the video where I did put the tray together, and you can see the whole thing in the description box. So now I'm starting to add another layer to the tray. So here I'm using these beautiful crystals and I'm gluing them on one at a time. And as you can see, as I'm gluing them on, I do have to add a little support to them until the glue sets. Now, once I do this process, I'll go ahead and glue that 3rd ring on top, and then this tray will be complete. Okay, so let's take a closer look at everything. This is how the tray turned out. You know what? I do like this tray, and I got to use it quite a bit in some other fall, settings like tablescapes and fall decor. Really like it. There would be a couple things I would do differently if I make this tray again. I would do the trim a little bit differently, and I would add a 2nd ring to the top ring just to give the tray a little more stability. So if you're planning to make this DIY, those are a couple things I would suggest for you. I do really love how the cylinders turned out. Again, those are pieces that I still use today, and I absolutely love the vase. I think the vase is my favorite in this entire set. Now, if you want to see how those lids were made, check out the video below. All right, so now it's time for the pearl, white, and gold set. So this is another set I did, I think probably a couple of years ago, and it's just exactly that, pearl white and gold. I started by using this beautiful pearl white paint, another folk art brand. You'll find that I typically only use folk art paints. I find that, they just look the best and they last a little bit longer. So this particular paint, because it's a pearl paint, I'm gonna have to do, I believe I did 3 coats in order to get the look that I wanted. I went ahead and did each piece, and covered each piece with the first coat. Again, let the coats dry in between, and then I came back and did a third coat. Here you see me painting the vase, and again, following the same principles as always. Make sure that your brush strokes are even. Make sure that they go in the same direction as much as possible. Sometimes you do have to change directions just to get in the crevice, of a particular piece. Also, use a brush that's rated for acrylic. You don't have to use the most expensive brushes out there. I've been able to buy a lot of nice brushes at Walmart. It's really just a matter of it being an acrylic brush or not. So here you see I'm just finishing up the vase. And then once I do that, I'm going to come back and touch up each of these pieces with a second color because I do want this set to be two-toned. Okay, so after adding the second tone, or color rather, to all the pieces, which was just a beautiful gold color made by Folk Art, I'm going to go ahead now, as you can see, and mix up a Mod Podge paste that I'm going to put directly on top of the paint. Now, I am just mixing in a little bit of extra fine gold glitter, and it's really just about how much you want to put in there. Again, it could be a little, it could be a lot. It's really a judgment call here. And then once I get the paste put together, as you can see, I'm just brushing the paste on over the white pearlesque paint. So I'll do that. And then once the paste is set and dry, I actually come back and add another layer of Mod Podge gloss, the spray, to each of the pieces, just to make double sure that the glitter is locked into place. Okay, so now I'm just coming back and adding a few final touches before getting on, before adding a little bling and a little fabric trim to each of the pieces. So the one thing I wanted to do was to come back and accent the rims of each of the vases, the smaller jars, as well as the large vase, and of course the little Dollar Tree cylinder, just so that the bottom has that same, or the top rather, has that same hint of gold as the bottom. And then once I do that, I'll be ready to go ahead and start adding some fabric trim. Now here you can see I'm adding the Mod Podge gloss layer just to lock in that glitter and make sure that the glitter does not shed. So now I am working with this gold duct tape, and it's a beautiful reflective tape, and I had to pull it off and kind of start over again just to get it to lay right. But once I got it into position, then I'll go ahead, or get it rather into position, then I'll go ahead and add some additional trim to all of the pieces. And I kept it really simple, since the paint and the Mod Podge and the glitter, that kind of really makes the pieces. I went light on the other touches, as you'll see, but again, I do like how everything turned out. And this is a piece or a set rather, that I still have and I still use today. Now again, if you want to see a little more detail on how I did this piece, then please go down and click the link, which I've left in the description box, and then you can watch the entire video. But I think you probably get the idea just by watching the clips that I've shared with you. Also, if you want to see how the lids were made, I think I did 2 types of lids for this set. I can't really remember, but again, you'll be able to see that in the video that I've left, or the link that I've left below as well. Okay, so this is how the set turned out. You know what? I do like this set, and again, it is one of my favorites. Now, here, let's just take a close-up look at everything. Really like the glitter effect with the Mod Podge paste. I think if I were gonna make this set again, I'd probably change up the trim a little bit, but overall, really satisfied with it. Again, I've gotten a lot of use out of this set, and although I've included this set in my fall series because I did make this in the fall a couple of years ago, this is a good set that it can carry you right into winter. And of course, you could use any color paint that you want. You could do this Mod Podge treatment with silver if you wanted, or whatever color glitter that you wanted. And again, like how it turned out, one of my favorite sets. Now, this is the vintage white and gold set. I love this set, and I absolutely use it all the time. If I were going to make this set again, I don't think I'd change anything. So I started by using a vintage white paint. Now, this is a multi-surface paint. The pigment is a little heavier, so you won't have to use as many coats. And again, in case you missed it earlier in the video, or one of the other videos, clips in this series, always make sure to clean your glass pieces thoroughly and make sure to clean them with alcohol before you start to paint them, and that will help your paint adhere. So the painting for this set was really just easy to do because, again, this paint is really easy to work with. I think I may have done maybe 2 sets at the most. Maybe that's about it, but or rather 2 coats of paint, I meant to say. But again, really like how it turned out. Now you're going to see after I finish painting with the vintage gold or vintage white paint that I'm going to go back and add that beautiful gold color as an accent color, and then I'll move on to adding a little bit of fabric trim. And in this DIY, I think I used ribbon instead of fabric trim, but really like it. It's a classic set, and I'm still using it in my home decor right today. And I made this probably early in 2023. So again, I'll link the full video down in the description box in case you want to see that. So again, here I'm coming back and just carefully adding my gold accent, and you'll see that I add that to the top and the bottom of each of these pieces. All right, now that the paint is dry, I'm going to go ahead and seal it. My sealant of choice for paint would be the Folk Art Select Seal. I'm using a gloss finish. It also comes in a satin finish as well as a matte finish. I love the gloss, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, and it's definitely needed if you want your painted piece to last. So once I do that, then I'll come back, or rather once I'm finished with this, and I seal all the pieces and I let the sealant dry, then I'll add just a minimal amount of bling, basically. I really didn't add any bling to this. Technically, I just added some ribbon to kind of accent the gold. So I started with the smaller Dollar Tree pieces. And again, this ribbon that I'm using is absolutely gorgeous and really inexpensive. I paid $1 for a roll at Joann Fabrics, and I've used it on different projects, but just really nice. It holds up. You know, so far these pieces look really great, and I do use them quite a bit. So after I do this, then I think I'll go ahead and start putting the mirror together. Okay, now for the mirror, I did a lot of this off camera, but if you want to see the full DIY, you certainly can go down and click the link for the full tutorial. But what I did is, just as you saw me do with the 12-inch mirror and the other DIY, I used cake boards in between the two oval-shaped mirrors. Now, I couldn't find cake boards in this shape, so I used 12-inch cake boards and cut them to size. I believe I used two or three in between the layers of the mirrors. And here you see I am gluing on what I would call the legs. Now these are just crystal and gold tone drawer knobs that you can buy anywhere. Amazon, I think I mentioned that earlier. You can find them at Home Goods. They even sell some probably at Home Depot. But so I've put these four on and I glued them on with E6000 to make sure that they're, it's a strong hold. And then I ended up adding just a little gold ribbon around the trim. I basically want to make sure that I hide the cake boards and of course give the mirror a finished look. And then after that, this DIY will be done. Okay, and this is how the set turned out. You know what? I really do like this set. I like the simplicity of it, I think, more than anything. I love the antique white. I love the way the pink turned out. I love the accent of the gold and the simplicity of the set. But let me know what you think, if you like this and if this is something that you would make for your home. Also, it was really very affordable. All the pieces are thrifted, except of course for the two oval shaped mirrors, but just really, didn't have to spend much for it. Again, the ribbon, I only spent $1 for that. So affordable, and again, I think it would go with most any decor. This is a piece that I'm going to keep for a long time. And if I were to make this set again, I don't think I'd change anything. I like everything about it. But again, I'd love to hear, what you think. Okay, so now for DIY number 5, and this is the Champagne and Pearl set. Now, this set is one of my favorites. It might even be my absolute favorite DIY that I've done, ever since I started this channel. Now, the champagne color is absolutely gorgeous. Again, you've seen me use that in a couple of DIYs now in this compilation, but it's absolutely beautiful. And I am working on a DIY right now where I'm using this color for a fall set that I'm making. But I used this is a folk art paint, and it's one where you'll have to use at least 2 to 3 coats to get the look that you want, but it's a treasure gold paint. But when it's done, I think you'll love it. Very nice, very neutral color. So here I'm painting the thrifted cylinder. And by the way, all of the pieces in this DIY, all of the glass pieces are thrifted pieces. So after I apply a couple of coats of paint to all of the pieces, then I'll start adding a little bit of bling. And of course, this is the ginger jar vase, which is one of my favorite pieces to make over on the channel. I've done tons of these, and I found out recently that Walmart actually sells these vases now. At least they do in my area. I always buy mine thrifted, really inexpensive, but Walmart has them, and I think they're only like $3.99. So at least, again, in my area they had them, so I would think that you could find them in other Walmarts as well. All right, so I'll let you watch me do the painting here, and I'll be back when we start adding a little bling. Okay, so the paint is dry. Now it's time to add a little bling. Now, if I could do anything different with this set, I would go back and I would use the sealant. I did this set, I think this is probably 3 years old, maybe at least 2, maybe 3 years old, and it has held up beautifully. But back then, I wasn't using the sealant that I use now. And I wish I had done that then, because I want this set to last forever. So if I was going to make it again, that's what I would do. So here you see me using fabric trim, also a rhinestone fabric trim, and then another closed chain wrap trim. And I just wrapped them around the neck of the vase and then did the diagonal slant. And I think I'll add a couple more pieces of bling to this and then top it with a brooch. And the brooches that I used in this for this DIY all came from Walmart. And the reason I picked them is because they had the pearls and the rhinestones, excuse me, and I thought they really went with the set. The smaller pieces, I believe I used actual buttons that I took the back off. And then for the vase, I used a brooch. And of course, I removed the back of the brooch. Now, I also used some imitation pearl strands, and you'll see me add that to the vase in a little bit. And I used it on each of the pieces, or used the strands rather, on each of the pieces. And they're just pearl strands that I picked up at Walmart. I believe they were less than $1 each. So this is another very affordable DIY. But again, it's one of my absolute favorites. And if you were to come to my home right now, you would see this vase and these containers in my living room. Okay, guys, so I'm going to stop talking and let you watch me add the bling to the vase and the other pieces. And I'll be back when we get to the finished look. Okay, now this is how the set turned out. I really love this set. Again, as I said, it's probably one of my favorite sets that I've done on the channel since I started the channel. Really love the color, love the pearls, the rhinestones, the paint. Let me know what you think. Is this a set that you would make? And would you give it away? Would you keep it? What would you do with it? Now, if you'd like to see how those lids were made, don't forget to go down and click the link so that you can watch the video where I created the lids that are for this set. But again, love the rhinestones and the pearls together with that beautiful champagne color. And again, the only thing I would change is, even though these pieces have held up and stood the test of time, I wish I had stained them because I'd like to keep this set forever. Also, the mirror that you see in the video is from another DIY, so I'll make sure that I link that video in the description as well. So again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this compilation with the 5 DIYs. I'll be back very soon with a brand new DIY. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope that you'll decide to do that today. Make sure that you leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video. Thanks again for watching, and have a wonderful day or a wonderful night. Bye-bye.